Hi friends, today I'm going to go over my breast pumping survival guide and everything I wish I knew before I started pumping. So I'll share some pumps and then some milk storage tips, then we'll go over some clothing, and then later I'll share some common struggles and some tips to deal with those struggles. When I first started pumping, there was just so much that I had to figure out on my own, so I really hope that this video can be a place where you can just get all the information that you need so that you can have a successful journey with breast pumping. Let's start with pumps. You'll want to have a primary pump, a backup pump, and a manual pump. In general, one pump will do, but it's just good to have some backups in case one of your pumps malfunctions. Your primary pump is your go-to, and for me, that is a portable pump with silicone flanges. I learned that plastic pumps aren't really comfortable and I don't get as good of an output with those types of flanges. So I'd highly recommend getting a pump with silicone flanges. There's just something about it that helps to pull more of your milk out. And I did tend to get more clogged ducts with plastic. Stationary pumps are nice because there's just more power, and since they're hooked to the wall, the plug, they're not going to be as loud. But you're not able to move around as freely, so that I think is just not as convenient. You're going to be moving around and about, especially as your baby becomes more mobile. One that I use, it is out of stock right now, but this is the one that I use. You can get it on Amazon, but I linked one that is very similar to it, has pretty much the same parts, has the silicone flanges, and I use the 24mm one. Keep in mind that when you first start pumping, if you're pumping right away after you have your baby, you're going to want to pump about every 2 hours, and that means into the night as well. A lot of insurance companies will provide a pump for you for every pregnancy that you have. You just need to get a doctor's order and then contact your insurance company. They can help you choose the right one for you. I have the Spectra, it's that pink one. And I did like it at first, but over time I just found myself not really using it. Your backup pump is in case your main pump breaks down. You really don't want to be in a situation where all of a sudden your main pump just stops working and then you're not really sure what you're going to do. Right now I have my portable pump, my stationary pump, and my Willow Go. Third pump you may possibly use is a manual pump, and I use a Haka. These are nice for when you have clogged ducts and for catching your milk if you are breastfeeding. So in general, having 3 pumps, a stationary pump with silicone flanges, or it can be portable. I recommend portable ones. The second one will be a backup. That's just used in case of emergencies, and maybe pick one that's travel friendly, more discreet, more quiet. Third pump will be a manual pump, one that you can use for clogged ducts and just in case you are leaking. It is a way to collect milk so that that doesn't go to waste. Now that we've pumped our milk, how are we gonna store it? This is just the way that I like to store my milk. So first, find the right bottles for you. I use Dr. Brown's anti-colic like every basic person. They're just very great bottles. There are a lot of parts to them, but my baby seems to like them, and he didn't really have a lot of issues with spitting up much. So those are the ones that I would personally recommend, but just find one that your baby likes. I like to pump my milk and store them in bottles right away, and then use mason jars to store the excess. I'm not an overproducer. I usually produce around the exact amount my baby needs and a little bit more. I like to keep my morning milk on the left side of the fridge, and then I keep my PM milk or my night milk on the right side. And you can see that there's this fatty layer on the top. All you have to do is just swirl that mason jar, that bottle around a little bit, and that'll break it apart. So I like to pump my milk and then put it into the bottles, and then any excess I'll put in these jars. And I don't like to use the pitcher method just because I like to separate my milk from AM to PM. So this is just what I prefer to do. Bags are used for freezing milk. You can also use bags when you're traveling because a lot of the times you're not going to be carrying jars with you. And so having a few bags on hand is going to be a lot more convenient. Other optional travel items are a breast milk chiller. These are nice for going out for the day, but it can be bulky if you're just going out for a few hours. So I usually only use the chiller if I'm out for most of the day. If I'm going to be out for more than around like 5 hours, that is a good amount of time. It's compact and you don't have to bring a cooler. In general, for storage, make sure that you have bottles that your baby likes, some jars on hand, bags so that you can freeze your milk and use it for travel, and then you can find a chiller, possibly, if that's an option for you. If this video is helpful for you so far, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button to let me know. Let's talk about clothes. So for me, I prefer basics that are going to be clothes that I can wear before pregnancy and after pregnancy. So if that's not your jam, then you don't need to listen to this part, just skip to the next part. You're going to want to find a bra top that is padded and not too tight. These ones from Uniqlo I got are really comfortable, and you can wear them pre-pregnancy, post-pregnancy. And if you're breastfeeding, it's just easier to lift the bra top up rather than fumbling around with clips. I did buy some nursing bras and it just ended up being less convenient than I thought. What I do is I put some nursing pads on the inside of that padded part of the bra. A 200 count nursing pad box will last you about 6 to 8 months depending on how frequently you change them out. I didn't change them out every single time because they weren't always wet, so I just changed them when I noticed that they were starting to wear down, just to conserve the amount of pads that I had. In general, with clothing, loose clothes are going to be your friend. Tighter clothes are going to make it harder for you to pump in public, and also if you're breastfeeding too, it's just going to make things a lot more challenging. Find a really loose jacket that you can just throw over yourself. I did this quite a lot. There might be some instances where you might have to pump in public, and instead of flashing the whole world, it's just nice to have a jacket to cover yourself up so people aren't staring. I know that it's a normal thing, but sometimes it's just nice to have some privacy. But really, clothing is very personal, so just find what you feel most comfortable in, and then you'll have a more positive experience. For myself, I like to find something comfortable, versatile, loose, and something that I can see myself wearing maybe like a year or two after. Now let's talk about some common problems that you might encounter. Clogged ducts are really common, and the way that I dealt with my clogged ducts, and this might be TMI, but use your husband or your significant other, partner, to suck it out. That's just what works. You're going to feel where the clogged duct is, and if you put some pressure on it while another person's helping you to suck that out, you're going to notice more milk is going to flow out. Once that milk starts flowing out, your partner is going to be able to tell, because all of a sudden there's going to be more milk coming out. After that happens, then grab your manual pump or a Haakaa and use the manual pump to get the excess. Follow that up with a small pumping session, about less than 5 minutes. Then you're going to feel a significant difference in that clogged duct. If your supply is running low, then you can take some supplements to help increase your milk production. Hydrating yourself and diet also makes a big difference. Pumping at work can be a hassle. I said in the beginning was if you have a stationary pump, that isn't going to be the most convenient if it's your primary pump. So having a very good portable pump is going to be essential for you when you're going to work. You can bring a stationary pump to work too, but it's just very bulky and it really gets old when you're coming into work every single day with a huge bag of stuff. Get a reusable bag, one that looks like this, where you can wash it out every day, and get yourself a wet dry bag. You can easily put it in like this, throw it in your bag, inside of this bag here. And obviously you're gonna do it a lot nicer, but then zip that up, zip this up. Bring some extra breast pump bags in case. These ones are nice because it has a little spout where you can rip this piece off and pour your milk. These ones are really nice for travel. I don't really prefer these for freezing, so keep that in the front pocket. Then you have your pump inside here. It won't get dirty because you have your reusable pump bag. And then this little clip here, you can clip it right onto your lunch bag. Very simple. You can bring that right to work, put it in the community fridge or your own fridge, and you're good to go. So if you know that pumping hack, you can put your pump in the fridge. Just make sure you don't put the motors in the fridge because that can affect the battery. It's probably not good to put electronics in the fridge. Some other tips, and these are just things that I learned from my experience. Your milk might not come in until days after you give birth. My milk didn't really come in till around day 4 or 5. I would suggest asking a friend, a mom friend that has been producing milk, for some donor milk. That is what I did during my experience, and it was super helpful. And trust me, there are going to be people that want to help you out. When you are weaning your baby onto formula, if you have been doing breast milk for a while, do it really slowly. My baby spit up a lot when we transitioned him onto formula, but try not to switch out formula all at once. My last tip is don't put so much pressure on yourself. Have grace on yourself. Fed is best. You're doing what is best for you and your baby is going to be so happy and healthy. So just keep it up. I really hope that you have a positive experience on your pumping journey. And if you have any other suggestions or tips, please leave them in the comments. I like to read through those and other people find them helpful too. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you next time.